We are back and have hit a fairly significant milestone. I've got all of these transformers hooked up. I hooked up the AC input side first of all, and then tested to make sure that my output was as expected. And then I took them at that point and tested, and I did those one at a time. And then I went on and did one at a time, hooked the output to one or the other side of the hacker cap, because of course one is on one side, one is on the other, all the way through those. And then once I finished those, hooking up those, I confirmed that the raw voltage coming off of the hacker caps was suitable. It's actually a little bit high, but it's fine because of course we're all fully regulated here. And the whole point of this is just to pull the voltage down, so wasting a little bit of extra energy, but not a major deal. I think we're with my high mains. My mains tend to be about 123 volts. These transformers are actually rated at 115, so all the numbers are going to come out high. The 24 volt transformers. So the DC that I get out of the smoothing caps, after all is said and done, is about 39 volts DC with my mains. Running sort of typical 120, it'd be closer to 37, and of course the shunt regulators pull it down to 25 volts is what I read off of them, all consistently across all. So hook those up. The next step I felt quite a bit of trepidation about, because you'll notice there are pin connectors here. If you notice, like this one down here, and these guys are all soldered onto pin connectors and or sort of mini turrets or whatever you want to call them. And I had very little experience soldering these, so I felt a bit of trepidation about making those work, but it turns out it was super easy. Barely an inconvenience there for those of you who watch Ryan George. And if you don't watch Ryan George, you should be watching Ryan George. He does all of the pitch meeting videos, talking back and forth to himself. Anyway, so the trick was just strip off a little bit of the wire, tin the wires, tin the turret a little bit, the little pin, hold the two together steadily, touch the soldering iron to it until it gets liquid, pull the soldering iron away, wait for a second, and boom, it's done. The key thing was just making sure that I was nice and stable so that I could hold it easily. So now we are running. The thing is currently, as you can see, it's on right now. I'm just doing a little bit of a burn-in here, or soak test, or whatever you want to call it. I was doing some measurements with my little meter here. Let's just pull it out. Where is it? There it is. Switch hands. So you'll see, I'm trying to see where I'm pointing here. So as we go across, the hottest spot I've found so far, and it's not getting the same readings here as if I get right above it. Maybe I can get right up above it here. I don't know if we can do this here. The highest I've got is 165 volts between a couple of these ones here in this region, hitting about 65 volts. But the actual heat sink itself, about 40 volts, 42 volts, somewhere in there. The heat sink that's connected to it is about 40 volts, so, or sorry, 40 degrees Celsius volts. So it is warm, but I was expecting it to be warm, but the heat spreader is bolted to the case, and the heat sinks here are attached to them with thermal tape. So once we get it all together, I expect there's going to be enough air moving past those that it should keep them suitably cool. I'm just going to check the specs on these. I can't recall the actual model number, but this thing has two types of ICs on it, so I'm just going to look up the data sheet on those and see what the typical voltage is. But as I say, the hottest reading I've gotten off of anything is 65 degrees Celsius. So there you go. I have not yet soldered on the output pins. Here's my output wires yet. So I'm going to solder those on, cable tie it up a little bit just to tidy it, and go from there. I'm not going to cable tie this because, of course, we don't want all these wires to be together. We want them to be separated by a little bit, but it sure does look messy. I don't like it when things look messy. Oh, and finally, I've got the ground wire here. I kind of pulled it out of the way. I've got to string it back through and reconnect it there, and then connect the other one back there. But other than that, things are looking good. Talk to you later.